This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem. We're continuing in Seif Shoneh Halachos. Today's share is sponsored by Rabbi Yossi Badner, Lila Nishmas, Rabbi Shaila of Karser, Rabbi Shai ben Rav Moshe. We covered the Olam, we covered the Klein Mishpacha, we covered Kol HaKol HaKadosh Hazeh. Okay, Shalom Shalom Aleichem, Me'el Search for all Klal Yisrael, and for Rabbi Yossi and his Mishpacha, Rabbi Yossi Tzaddik. Okay, we're up to Siman Daled, Sif Katan Lamed Hey. We're learning Hilchos Netilas Yadayim. The foundation of Hilchos Netilas Yadayim is we're talking about, there are two dimensions to Netilas Yadayim. The dimension we're speaking about primarily is the takana of washing one's hands for tefillah, which there are two basic reasons for the Rosh and the Rashba. The Rosh says when a person goes to sleep at night, their hands are very busy. Yadayim askoni yisheim. You scratched yourself in a place that's memule zeya, full of sweat, full of filth, and therefore one would have to wash their hands. That's the reasoning of the Rosh. Your hands are dirty, not tameh, dirty, actually dirty. What do you mean? But last night I took a shower, I used Pantene shampoo, I used conditioner, I used all. Yeah, but once you go to sleep, your body becomes dirty, and your hands are dirty. They are not fit to wash, to daven in. According to the Rosh, you have to wash your hands for every tefillah. Shachris, Mincha, Marev, which is the halacha. Now, the Rashba is of the opinion that there's a different reason for Netilas Yadayim. Namely, when you wake up in the morning, you're a Beria Chadash, you're a new creation. And just like the Kohanim inaugurated their Avodah in the Beis HaMikdash by washing their hands, one has to inaugurate their Tefillah Shachris by washing their hands. That's the Rosh and the Rashba. This is irrespective of what we call the Tumah of Negel Vaser, irrespective of the Ruach Ra, that when the Neshama goes upstairs, it becomes a vacuum, and then the Tumah comes onto the body, and then when the Neshama returns, it banishes the Tumah except for one's fingers. This is the Takana of Netilas Yadayim for Tefillah. So now the Shaila is, what if you sleep in gloves? Sleeping, I say, oh come on, it's academic. It's not. It's actually more common than you think. Sometimes people have very chapped hands, and they put on Vaseline, and they sleep in gloves. It's actually very common. Do you have to wash your hands in the morning? Negel Vaser, you're going to have to wash, but do you make it a Netilas Yadayim? Well, according to the Rashba, I'm still a new creation. But according to the Rosh, I didn't scratch. Yadayim askoni says, my hands are clean. What? So Ruach Ra, for Negel Vaser, I'm going to have to wash. But what about the bracha of Al Netilas Yadayim? So now it becomes a suffix bracha. The Rosh says, I don't make a bracha. The Rashba says, I do make a bracha. So Yashen, Balayla, Bebata Yadayim, if you sleep in gloves, Lo Yevarich Babarch Al Netilas Yadayim. You're not going to make it Al Netilas Yadayim. But there's a simple solution. You go to the bathroom. You go to the bathroom now, your hands are dirty. Hands are dirty, you have the Rosh, and you got the Rashba. So it is academic, because who wakes up in the morning doesn't have to go to the bathroom. The right thing is do your needs, go to the bathroom, lefnei hatfila, then v'yivarech, and then you make the bracha. Okay, next case. This is, the most common question regarding staying up all night on Shavuos. Do you make al Netilas Yadayim in the morning? So let's think about it. I didn't sleep. Is there Ruach Ra if I don't go to sleep? Does Ruach Ra only come if I sleep, or does it come in that? Because what causes the Ruach Ra? Does the night cause the Ruach Ra, or does the sleep cause the Ruach Ra? Night, sleep, right? It's a suffix. It's a suffix whether the night causes it or the sleep causes it. So you're going to wash Negel Vaser at Alois Tashachar, but do you make a bracha of Al Netilas Yadayim? L'chayra, you should not. I'm not a Beria Chadasha. I'm not a new creation. How am I new creation? I'm a new creation if I go to sleep and I wake up feeling refreshed. But if I stayed up all night and I feel like, I was run over by a truck, so then, I'm not a new creation. The Raja says you are. First of all, loy plug. The guy next to me is a new creation. He went to sleep. The guy over here is a new creation. So I'm also loy plug. But I'm not loy plug. We're not going to differentiate. Secondly, the Rashba says the world is a Beria Chadasha. So according to the Rashba, if you're up all night, you do make a bracha. But the Rosh would say, I don't make a bracha. Why? Yadayim askoni is him when I'm sleeping, not when I'm up. So hayoneir kalala, if you're up all night, yitol yadav, achar amar shachar. You're going to wash your hands after amar shachar gimel pa'amim. 3 times for negel vaser, and to be yotzin tzedam according to the Rashba, avalo yivarech. But you're not going to make a bracha. You're not going to make a bracha. Why not? Because you don't have Yadayim Askoni as him according to the Rosh. What? So what do you do?
Besides that,
A negavasser issue is not really an issue because there's no bracha. So just do it.
So what do you do?
3 times. Wash
And then
negavasser.
right after you do 2, like you do 5.
No. You do it in one.
You're doing it different ways, right? Because the diamond.
Yeah, but you could do alternate. You could do serugim for Netilas Yadayim. That's not the normal way to do it, but it's okay if you do it that way. Now, actually, yeah. So, if you're up all night, you're going to wash 3 times. You're not going to make a bracha. What if I dozed off? So do I now have Yadayim Askani Yisheim? No, Shinas Arai, we don't say if you fell asleep for 12 minutes that you probably touched yourself. V'afilu Yashin Shinas Arai. Now, but there's also a simple solution. This is what we do. You go to the bathroom. Right? You go to the bathroom. This way, you have the Rashba, your new creation, and you have the Rosh, that your hands are dirty. Elam Kein Asot Tzrachav, unless you defecated, Ayhito Mayim, or you urinated, V'shiv Sheif, and you got your hands soiled. V'chein Nochin Lasis. That's the right thing to do. Now, once we're on the topic of staying up all night, let's talk about the other brachas of someone who stayed up all night. What issues are there if somebody stayed up all night? So the main one is Netilas Yadayim. The main one is Netilas Yadayim, because you don't have the rush. So you go to the bathroom, that takes care of that issue. What about tzitzis? Not an issue. You put on a talis gadol. You were, even though you were wearing a talis katan, now I'm putting on a talis gadol. So there's no issue with tzitzis. A bachar has an issue with tzitzis. A bachar won't make a bracha on tzitzis. What about brachas hatayra? Brachas hatayra is an issue because there's a shaila. Do you make a brachas hatayra every single day, even if irrespective of whether you went to sleep or not, or do we say no? You had to have gone to sleep. So Brachas HaTorah is a suffix. If you're up all night, Brachas HaTorah is a suffix. However, there is an interesting solution. It's not such a simple solution, but an interesting solution. And that is, if you slept during the day before, Sheinas Keva, then you'd be allowed. Now in general, there's a shayla. Let's say you take a long nap Shabbos afternoon. Do you have to make Brachas HaTorah when you wake up? No. But there's a suffix. We don't do it, but it's a suffix. But if you slept a long nap in the afternoon, and then you stayed up all night, so in a way it's like a svek sveika. Maybe I have to make a Brachas HaTorah because I slept during the day. And even if not, maybe I have to make a Brachas HaTorah because I was up all night. So basically, Rabbi Kiva Eger says you make a Brachas HaTorah. So Brachas HaTorah is not really such an issue. You can make Brachas HaTorah. But here, that's a one suffix. And even though usually we say Svek Sveika also Lakula, now usually we say Svek Sveika Lakula, by Sfiras HaOmer we allow Svek Sveika to say you can make a bracha, and by Brachas HaTorah as well. What? Stam in general, if you take a nap Shabbos afternoon, and you don't want to wear your tzitzis. Let's say a person takes off their tzitzis. Then when they wake up, there's a shaila whether you have to make another bracha or not. So people, if you cover yourself with the tzitzis, then it's like you're not mesiach das from it. Okay, what other brachas are an issue? Other brachas are hamaver sheina me'enoi. We mean God removes sleep. I never went to sleep. So that bracha you cannot make if you're up all night. Elai kai neshama, you cannot make if you're up all night. So those are the 2 issues, basically. Elai kai neshama and hamaver sheina. That, you get a guy, you get the guinea pig, the special, Shavuos guy, who slept for 30 minutes, and he'll make those 2 brachas for you.
What does the rush do with Elai kai neshama in general? Doesn't that rise? Did you make that bracha?
The rush?
The rush.
Why?
Because we said it's not like it's decided for us or we can't. Here's that whole paragraph is saying.
The Rosh agrees that you're a Beri Chadasha. He just says you don't have to wash Netilas Yadayim just because you're a Beri Chadasha. He agrees you're a new creation. It's just that wouldn't necessarily. That's not the reason for the legislation of Netilas Yadayim. Okay. Sif Katan Lamed Zayin. V'im Yashin b'miktzas halayla shenas keva al mitasai. Let's say like this. You went to sleep at 10 p.m. and you woke up at 1 a.m. V'loy natal yadav kishakam. When you got up, you didn't wash your hands. Yital yadav, you could wash your hands, v'yavarech, and make a bracha in the morning. Why? Because you're a Beri Chadasha and your hands were busy. What if you washed your hands when you got up at 1 a.m.? Then I can't make a bracha later in the morning unless I also go to the bathroom. Elam kein asat tzrachav kidal el din lamedaled. Now here's an interesting question. Chazal tell us that David HaMelech never slept. Could somebody bring me Mishnah Berurah Chelek Aleph? Shitin Nishman. Yeah? David HaMelech did not sleep 60 breaths.
Sleeping standing.
David did not sleep Shitin Nishman. 60 breaths. Which is the 60 consecutively. Right? David was Zahir not to sleep 60 breaths. Why? Because, thank you, when you sleep 60 breaths, then you're Toyim Tam Misa. And David HaMelech did not want to be Toyim Tam Misa. Therefore, David, you ready? The Shulchan Aruch in Siman Daled quotes the Gemara in Sukkah Daf Chav Zayin, and it's the Zayar in the beginning of Vayigash. David Haya Nizar Shalai Lishan Shitin Nishman, which is 60 breaths. Why? Kedei Shalai Yitoim Tam Misa. So the question is, good for David. What does it have to do with us? Well, now, what does it mean he didn't sleep 60 breaths? Consecutively. But he would doze off many times, less than Shita Nishmi until Chatzois. And Chatzois he would get up. Meaning, even when he would sleep, he would not sleep more than Shita Nishmin. Now there's the Shaila. Was David Nizar Dafka Bayayim or even Balayla? What's the Nafkamina? The Nafkamina is, most Achroinim say, David was Nizar even Balayla. Now, if David was careful even Balayla, then a Baal Nefesh should not sleep Shitin Nishmin consecutively, even during the day. But if David was only careful during the day, then you could say we're not on the level of David, and we could take a nap for more than Shitin Nishmin. Now, first thing you have to know is what? You shouldn't take a nap? That's right. It's a Sifin Shulchan Aruch. Really? So it's a machlekes. The Mechaber holds that a Baal Nefesh should not take a nap during the day. The Ramah disagrees. The Ramah says only a Baal Nefesh, that David was only careful not to sleep during the day. So therefore we don't have to be careful during the day. The Mechaber holds he was even careful at night. So at least we should be careful during the day. Now the first thing you need to know is Shabbos is not Bechlal. Shabbos is not included. As we know that Arizal slept many hours on Shabbos day. But is this really at all practical or relevant? Does not So the Mishnah Berurah says that if a person cannot function during the day unless they nap a little bit, then it's okay. But a person should not, sleep away the day. And even if you do take a nap during the day, again, this is talking about a weekday, on a random Tuesday, can you sleep Shita Nishman? So again, it's not Usr. There's no Isser to take a nap. It's Milsa de Chasidus. It's a saintly practice, right? There's no Isser. Many Gedolim napped even during the week, during the day. But again, this is a saintly practice. But what is its relevance for us? The relevance is, what is Shita Nishman? Because the halacha is that when you sleep during the night, you have to wash Negel Vaser. How long? Or by the way, if a person naps during the day, do they have to wash their hands? Yeah. But how long? In other words, let's say you take a nap. I go lie down take my power nap. So the best kind are 4 minutes. 4 minutes, it's a lifesaver. But let's say you sleep 20 minutes. Let's say you sleep. How long of a nap would you have to wash your hands? So let's see. Lamed Ches. Yashin b'yayim. If you sleep during the day, Kishir Shita Nishman, which is the shear of 60 breaths, Ritzufin, Yital Yadav Gimel Pam. You should wash Negel Vasar. Beloy bracha, but you're not going to make a bracha. Now, how long is Shita Nishman? Vishiurai. This is very interesting. There are 3 opinions. Yeshaimrim, Shu Gimel Shai. Some say 3 hours. So many people are very makbid. They only take 2 hours and 59-minute naps. Right? If the shear is 3 hours, then you could be a very holy person and say, I'm makbid not to sleep during the day, Shita Nishman, and you could sleep every day between 12 and 2:58. And you could still abide by this. Some say it's like 32 minutes. Some say it's like a little bit more than 3 minutes. So basically the 3 shitas are 3 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 hours. Well, again, what's the nafkamina? A few nafkaminas. Number 1 is, after how much of a nap do I have to wash my hands? Now, if you want to be machmer, and anytime you go to sleep, you wash your hands, it's okay, so do that. I mean, it's not a big deal. You take a nap, you wake up, you wash your hands. Be'ikr, we pass in 30 minutes.
Where is this from? We see this by David now?
David didn't sleep 60 horse breaths. So the question is, how long is that? Okay, because 60 horse breaths is the taste of death. Now, why wouldn't David want to taste death? So that Rizal says, David was the Gilgal of Adam. Adam brought Misa la'olam. So David is coming to counteract Misa. So David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'kayim. He doesn't want to taste death. He's the one who will usher in Tchias HaMesim. So the bottom line is, there is a chumrah for a Baal Nefesh not to sleep during the day. Shita Nishman. So according to the 3-hour shiur, it's not that hard to be Zahir on a weekday. So on Shabbos, you could take a 7-hour nap in the afternoon, and during the week, you limit it to 2 hours and 59 minutes. Lamaisa, we paskin 30 minutes. So if you wanted, let's say you wanted to be a saint, and you wanted to be machmir on this chumrah, so on Shabbos, you could still nap as long as you want, and during the week, you keep it to 29 minutes. But again, it's not a requirement. It's just milsa de chasidus. So if a guy says, I stayed up all night Shavuos, I only slept 28 minutes. Taka, he stayed up all night. Sleeping less than 30 minutes is not called sleep. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, the resident doctors here know better than me, but I think the sleep cycles go in cycles of 30 minutes, 50 minutes, maybe in an hour and a half. Mashahu kazeh. In other words, we want to get a good nap.
REM sleep starts at a certain...
Right? You got to sleep at least 30 minutes.
20 minutes.
And then 50 minutes.
Doesn't the Rambam have recommendations on sleep also?
The Rambam says you should sleep every night 8 hours. Look, everyone has their things they're machmer on. Some guy told me he's a brisker. He keeps the Rambam, but only one Rambam. He sleeps 8 hours a day. Yashanta oz yanuach life. You sleep oz, it's good, it's healthy. Okay. Mem ubal nefesh yachmir shlo yishen b'yom shita nishman mishum bittul Torah. A bal nefesh should be machmir, not to sleep during the day, shita nishman. Now, what's the reason? Bittul Torah. But if the guy anyway is not learning, and instead he's on his phone, for him it's a mitzvah to sleep as long as possible. Uve Shabbos mutter. On Shabbos, there's no inyan of being mamayit the nap. Umi she'i efshar lo'ilomad b'lo shinat sarayim. Someone who can't learn without napping during the day, mutter lishon ma'at. It's permitted for him to sleep a little bit. Avlo yarech ba. He shouldn't sleep a lot. V'tia kavanas l'shem shamayim. He should sleep for the sake of heaven. Ki hakol taloi lefi mashu adam. It all depends on your stamina and your physical nature. What is needed for your service of Hashem. If I'm not mistaken, I don't want to say, but one of the Gedolei Olam would take a nap every single day. I'm talking about one of the Achronim. Okay, the Gra, of course, did not sleep more than 2 hours in a 24-hour period, and he slept in half-hour intervals. The bottom line is that the best thing to do is try to go to sleep early and wake up early, and also, if you need to rest, then it's a good thing to rest. Okay, now, let's say you wash Nagelwasser, but you don't like to waste money. So after you wash Nagelwasser, you want to give it to your kids to drink. Not a good idea. The Nagelwasser water is tameh. Not only that, you're not going to get hana from it. So let's say you have a cat, and you want to give the cat, what's the cat's name? Gordon, give the cat a name. Sandy. You want to give Sandy, don't give Sandy to drink from your Nagelwasser water, because, she could turn into a turtle or something. Not a good idea. And also, you're not to get hana from the water of Nagelwasser. So don't use it to wash the dishes. Don't pour it in the house. Don't mop the floors with it. If people step on it, it could be dangerous. Throw it down the drain, or in soft dust, where it will just basically become absorbed. Where it will become absorbed. Mem Gimel. One more. The following activities require washing your hands until the joint. Okay? Now, some of these things are ruach ra. Some of these things are going to require washing 3 times. Some of them only 1 time. You ready? The al kolpanim, at the very least, ad Seif kishrei etzba'osav, to the end of the knuckles of the fingers. Ve'im ein loy mayim, if you don't have water, dai b'nikayin ba'alma, it's enough just to clean your hands, l'tayra u'letfila, for Torah and tefillah. And then, in other words, let's say you have ruach ra on your hands. You don't have water. So in the meantime, wipe them, learn, daven, and when you get water, wash them as soon as you can. When you get water, you wash your hands. Here are the different things. Sorry, I don't have this part of the sheet. We'll review it next time. But let's just read it quickly. Hakame hamita. One who wakes up in the morning, they have to wash their hands because of ruach ra. V'hamashamish mitasai. One who has marital relations has to wash their hands for a ruach ra. V'haholich bebeis hakvaros. One who goes to a cemetery has to wash their hands because of ruach ra. V'yitol koidem sheyispalal al hakvaros. Before you daven at a kever, you should wash your hands. Now, why should you wash your hands before you daven at a kever? Because what? Kabbalistic. Oh, Mishnah Berurah say that? Says what?
It's just for the tzitzit and the klippas and it's mikvah too, right?
Well, yes. Once we're on the topic, Chayyim brings down that if a person is tameh, meaning if a person has tumas kari, a person had relations, they should not go to a cemetery before they go to a mikvah. A little known halacha that unless a person goes to a mikvah, they shouldn't go to a cemetery, which is counterintuitive. You're going to a mikvah to go to a cemetery, and that's why many people don't go to cemeteries. And the Gra said not to go to cemeteries, and I think that Arizal also said not to go to cemeteries. However, Rishmuel Kamenetsky in the Kavetz Halachos writes that we're not makzed on that as manazeh. So, but why? Oh, the Maril writes, Yesh litol koidem shesval al hakvaros. I'm not sure why. You should wash your hands before you go to pray by a kever. Now, in general, a person says Tehillim. Let's say in the middle of the day, a person wants to say Tehillim. They don't have to wash their hands. Stam Yadayim is kosher for brachos, just not for shachris. But it seems like there's some kind of, I guess, mystical reason to wash your hands before you go to the cemetery, and then you wash again when you leave. Rav Moshe Feinstein has a chiddush that if you're going into a yeshiva after a cemetery, you do not have to wash your hands.
So I understand. So Netilas Yadayim would be two, not the Siurim, but after would be, right?
What?
Netilas Yadayim
Before?
It's going to be.
Well, it's going to depend on why you're washing your hands.
Because before you enter the cemetery, I'm not hit with ruach ra.
So what am I washing my hands for?
I didn't get the rough right.
I understand, but what are we washing your hands for?
When do you ever not see moving the process? Oh.
I'm saying if it's a mystical reason, I don't know. And we have to look into what's the reason to wash hands before you go into the cemetery. Now, some people have a minute to wash their face when they come out of a cemetery. Somebody touches a dead body, has to wash negel maser. Or somebody who enters the room of a dead body. Or somebody who accompanies a dead body. One should not enter a house. One should not enter another house. Before you wash your hands. All of these cases require Netila 3 times. That implies even washing before you daven. Some say only getting up in the morning requires washing 3 times. All the other activities do not require washing 3 times. Okay, let's hold it over here.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.